This is Crazy Cool coming at you today. Um, as you can see, this is the second half of my ride through the Catskills State Park. And unfortunately, what happened as I was talking, as you saw from my first video, when I was giving you a quick runaround or overview of my bike, I ended up knocking the mic out of the back of the Drift Ghost, and I didn't know it. So as I started to do the rest of my vlog, as I turned around to head back home, you could barely hear me. All you heard was wind noise because now the external mic is picking up the wind noise. So what I decided to do is just double voice in and pick up a conversation that I was actually having while talking to you from the first time that didn't get picked up by the mic inside that helmet. Now, what I started talking about was motorcycle, love, and marriage. And the reason why I started talking about it is basically I see a lot of couples riding two up. And I think that's a great thing. And I remember a number of years ago, a guy was saying, you know, his wife always wanted to come riding with him. And he didn't really want her there. But he said fine, so he put her on the back of the bike, drove as crazy and fast as possible, and now she no longer rides with him. Now, you know, some of you guys may find that funny and stuff like that, but if you're in a relationship with someone that you care about, and yes, I understand you need your time, but if you're in a relationship with somebody that you care about, why would you not want them to experience what you love? Like, I love riding my motorcycle. It's a stress relief for me. I learn new areas. It's something that, you know, I really enjoy. But my wife, who is also in the workforce, also has a stressful job, and she can de-stress this way with me as well. Plus, like I always say, create beautiful memories together. So to me, when you're out there and you have an opportunity to ride, and maybe your significant other would like to go with you, don't scare them and so they never want to ride with you again, because they was just basically reaching out to see why you love what you love. Maybe you should let them get on the back of the bike and experience what you like so much. And don't drive crazy. I'm not saying to creep and crawl, but drive within reason that they feel comfortable, because remember, they're putting their trust in your hands. So what I would do, and what I did, is I spoke to my wife. The first time my wife got on the back of the bike, I spoke to her the whole entire time. I told her exactly what she would feel. I told her when we were going to turn. I told her how it would feel. I actually showed her how it would feel in an emergency braking situation, what it's like to lean with the bike. I did everything to get her as comfortable as possible before we actually went out on the open road. Now, yes, first time out, just like any new rider or passenger, you know, she was a little nervous, and she would squeeze me with her knees as a way of saying slow down, or just trying to hold on extra super tight as we took a turn. But she began to relax, and as she relaxed, she started to see the beauties that I saw as I rode. So I wanted to ask this question out to a bunch of the YouTube viewers, like, do you like when your spouse or girlfriend or, you know, best friend or whoever rides with you? Do you like that? Do you enjoy riding two up? I actually met a couple where they rode two up, and they were married, and she said when her husband got the motorcycle, it was the best thing that they did for their marriage, because they were both working adults, but they lost that connection with each other. But being on the motorcycle together forced them to talk, because there was nothing else. There was no radio. There was no, you know, kids distracting them. There was no phones or anything. It was just the both of them riding together, and it forced them to recommunicate, and it started to help them in their marriage. And they said it got that spark back. You know, she loves it, he likes it, and she just said, you know, that's why they love riding together. And I think she said she was working on getting her own bike, because she wants one now. And I thought that was pretty funny. But not funny that she wants a bike, but funny, about their marriage. I love it when a young lady rides a motorcycle, old or young. I think it's sexy. Ladies, if you're out there and you want a bike, don't let that fear uh, stop you. You get on that bike and you go for it. So that's what I, kind of wanted to address today. Basically, like when you ride, do you like for your better half to ride with you? And when you're out there riding together, what do you talk about? Do you talk about the problems that you're having at work? Do you talk about financial problems? Do you work out maybe an argument you guys had earlier, and now that you have this beautiful open planet to ride on, it calms you down to where you both can talk to each other, which may work if you find, because if you notice when you're in the house and you're arguing, you're in familiar area, you argue even harder. But if you're outside, you argue, but it's not as bad, So maybe, that could probably help you too. You get on the argument, not talking, you just turn and go, hey, let's go for a ride and resolve this. And you ride off, and now you're able to leave that stress in the wind, and you're able to hear each other and not yell at each other, Because a lot of times when you're with your spouse and you're yelling back and forth, you're not listening to what each other is saying. You're just trying to over scream and yell at your spouse. And when you're on a bike, maybe it will force you guys to now talk, because he has to keep his eyes on the road, and you don't want to get him upset because he may drop the bike, or vice versa. Maybe she's driving and he's the passenger. But maybe that'd be a good idea. If you got a bike, or hey, if you got a car, go for a ride, release that stress, and then open up that line of communication, which I think is, it's a good thing. You're supposed to have a very good, strong communication in your marriage where you can literally talk about anything, whether it's serious or stupid. A lot of times I say stuff that has no real malice to it when I'm talking to my wife, but she understands I'm just getting stuff off my chest, and it has no way anything to do with her, and vice versa. We still hold that respect for each other, and when we go out, it's nice to know that we are able to. It's that feeling of us being together one on one. Yes, the baby's there. He's back being watched by grandma, but that one-on-one time, it's us recapturing our one-on-one, and building that nice little bond together, strengthening that bond that we have together. So do you do that? Do you use this time that time when you're out riding to communicate with your spouse, or maybe do something that you really wanted to do and just didn't have the time, So it's just a little thought. I think that riding together strengthens that love, that bond, and sometimes simple things mean a lot. I always say that. Sometimes keeping it simple gives such a strong and lasting presence in a person's heart. It was worth every moment of it. Now, I know I've seen it where you have couples that ride, and which I think is even better is where they both have motorcycles. I actually ran into a couple with a husband and wife. Both had their own bikes, but the wife was riding a Can-Am Spider. I think it was the RS. Not too sure, but I know it was the Can-Am Spider. And we were looking at each other's bikes, and she had stated that she was riding, when they were dating, she was riding with her husband for such a long time that she woke up one day and decided she wanted her own bike. And her husband tried to get her to get a Harley like he has, but she wanted her own, and she didn't want a two-wheel because of the, she said she couldn't shake that fear of dropping it. But she ended up finding out about the Can-Am, and her husband looked into it, saw it was, safe, saw that a lot of riders who, unfortunately, when maybe arthritis has set in or something, wasn't able to change gears, or something happened, and they adapted to the Can-Am Spider, and they are back out in the open road. So for Christmas, that's what him and his wife got. They bought a RS. He bought her a Spider RS for a Christmas present. And she was actually, I think that was her second time riding it or something, because this was early. But she said she loved it. She was no longer the chick in the back. She had her own machine, and she didn't have to worry. The fear of falling is now completely gone, because on those things you're riding on three wheels. But I think the best thing she said is her and her husband goes out at least 2 to 3 times a week, and ride together. And they said they have a great time just being together as a couple, as husband and wife. And she said, they will ride to where nobody's around, pull over, pull out a blanket and a basket, and have a nice little like lunch together, and then get back on and ride home, or maybe a dinner or something like that. But she said she likes that, and he loved it, because he said it's great that his wife is taking her own independent role in riding and being her own person, and she's no longer the chick hanging on in the back. So I thought that was pretty cool, and that's a good way of strengthening the bond, because they looked like they were both working parents, and that was a way of them relieving and that stress and strengthening their bond in their marriage. And he was doing it while motorcycling. Now I know some people say the Can-Am is not a motorcycle, but hey, it's a motorcycle. And they was using that machine to strengthen their bonds. I don't know if they had problems before, but she said she loved the fact that she's in charge of her own machine, and her husband loved the fact that she took the initiative to ride her own bike, which I think is really cool. I know some people feel that the Can-Am, or not the Can-Am, that riding with the spouse is not something they like doing. Motorcycle riding is their time, and their spouse or better half or a significant other can stay home and do what they want to do, but that's your thing, which I understand. Right now I'm riding and my wife is not on the back of the bike, but she has the option. Anytime she wants to get on the bike, she has the option of getting on the bike. I'm not going to deny her and say no because I want to ride alone. I don't know. But it won't be because, hey, I don't want you there. Maybe because I'm just planning on going super far and it's a new area and I just don't feel comfortable riding with her on the bike. But 9 out of 10, if she wants to get on the back of the bike and go, hey, babe, let's ride together, we're going to ride together. Or she may initiate and go, hey, babe, I feel like going for a ride today. We're going to ride. If we have somebody to watch the baby, we are out. So how do you feel about that? Like, do you like riding with your spouse? And again, I pose the question: when you're riding, what do you guys talk about? Is it quiet all the way and you're just enjoying the sound of the engine and the wind blowing in your face, or do you resolve situations and problems that you may be having, or just acting silly and remembering times when you guys were younger? I don't know. That's why you're married. You talk about whatever you want to talk about, I guess. But I guess that's it. I'm going to go quiet right now because I think I covered what I wanted to speak about. And you guys out there, I wanted to say thank you for watching my video. Ride safe and keep posting. Thank you.